So I finally have everything back in the case, and it all is working as intended, at least for the most part. Sometimes the Gotek will not enable the flash floppy reading of this drive. I don't know if it's a bad drive, or I need to probably switch it out and see if I get better results somewhere else. But yeah, on occasion we'll run into issues where it just has flash floppy and it doesn't load from it. Other times where I power it off, it's almost like maybe there's a capacitor that needs to be charged. I'm not quite sure. If I do it enough, I think it should eventually. Yeah, see, all I did was cut it on and off, and here we go. Now it's engaging it. So there's probably something there, something to look at there that needs to be addressed. But as you can see, it all loads in the case, really nice, and it plays everything fine. We've got our FM sound back. I cleaned the keyboard. That was something that desperately needed to be cleaned. Had a little bit of trouble getting that back because I forgot how to put it back together again, and there's a lot of membranes. But it all works out that it all works in this case here, and it all is very, very seamless. No cutting involved. The only issue that I seem to have found now is that I'm probably going to have to open this all back up again and diagnose something that's going on with slot 1 here. MSXs, of course, have 2 different slots. They both have different addresses as far as where some of the signals get sent. This is a game Konami has put out that is one of the cheaper carts that have a real SCC sound chip in it. This is Pro Yaku Pennant Race. Very, very cheap, much cheaper than some of the other SCC carts out there, like the Snatcher cart. My intent is to probably open this up and make it have a little toggle switch where you can use it as a sound cartridge, or you can play the game. I'm more interested in it being used as a sound cartridge. But if I put this in here in the top slot, and I cut it on, it's supposed to automatically boot with SCC sound. Instead, what's happening is it is actually only playing FM sound. And I've tried to clean that cartridge slot multiple times. See, this is all FM sound right here. And then by contrast, we can take that and put it into the bottom slot. And SCC should work just fine. So I'll have to figure out what's going on there. Maybe there's something else that's broken around the cartridge slot. But, for now, I think I'll probably just kind of let that annoyance persist. Because at least I can get SCC with the bottom slot. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this all worked out. I do plan to use it as like my main machine for a while. We could still, of course, switch things here on the screen. But yeah, overall, it's been a fairly challenging project. I'm not thrilled that I'm going to have to open it all back up, all the way to the motherboard again to probably see what's going on. Especially since I was like ready to kind of put the bow on this project. But yeah, maybe there'll be some other reason why I need to open it up anyway. So I'll probably just wait for now and use it as intended. But I am glad that the keyboard's working again. That was not something that I foresaw being a problem. What ended up happening is you can take these keycaps off, right? And the keycaps can be cleaned if you want. These, however, are not meant to come off. And I did not know that. And so what I did is I pulled that too much and it popped off. And for me to get it really glued back on the way I wanted, I really needed to like take the entire keyboard out and take it apart. And there's a lot going on in there. There's like a spring for every single one of these buttons. And not only that, but there's like 3 layers of membrane material that you have to get exactly right so that the key presses will hit exactly where they need to. And I forgot, I guess I didn't really pay much attention when I first pulled it out and actually separated everything. So when I put it back in, it was causing a short. And basically these 2 lights will come on, the caps and the Kana light. They'll just keep flashing on and off, on and off. And from what I understand, that just means like a general hardware error. It's not really something that you can diagnose all that well. But even with the keyboard not being connected, these 2 would not do that. So it was definitely something wrong with the keyboard. I went back in, and all it was is that there needs to be a little bit of a sheet separator that is in between the 2 membrane plastic sheets, I guess. It's not really hard to explain without showing you, but it's like a plastic sheet with a bunch of membrane material and graphite. I'm not exactly sure how it all is manufactured, but it's basically 2 things that need to touch for connectivity. And if it's touching all the time, it will cause a short. So you need to put this little plastic interior sheet inside so that it's fully separated until the time that you press the spring down. And the spring isn't actually what's making contact. It's a little tiny little nodule that's on the plastic. And that little plastic is what pushes down and actually connects the 2 membranes together. So you have to align it very carefully. That's one issue that I had an issue with before. I probably had to take the thing apart like about 5 times. And of course, these little tiny springs, they go everywhere. So if you're not exactly very careful with it, you might find yourself needing to replace the springs. Fortunately, I was able to find them. It's just a carpet away, basically. Getting on my hands and knees and trying to search for the missing springs that were dropping on the carpet. Fortunately, I did find them all, and I put it all back together. It's working for the most part. On occasion, it's almost like something gets stuck, and then the 2 won't work very well. But it seems to be connected to something up here, because once I start fiddling with these keys, this becomes alive again. So it's like I said, this is kind of a beater MSX. I'm glad that I've gotten it as far as I have. I'm not sure I'm going to really fully diagnose that issue anytime soon, because it is working. The SAC is of course a little bothersome, but at least I can get it from the bottom cart. And the only other problem that I have currently, and I don't know if I'm going to solve for that or not, but this is the Mega Flash ROM SAC Plus SD. It has a little SD card reader here. Pull it out. Takes a micro SD. But I'm going to open that up so you can see it. This, unfortunately, even though it's served me for many, many years, do you see that little daughter board that basically sits on top of that? Well, that snapped off originally, and I went back and I soldered it as best as I could. I don't see any shorts. I have continuity from up here all the way to the pins on the chip, and it still loads fine. But whenever I put in a SD card that's formatted for FAT, I think it's FAT16, it just won't read it, and I don't know what's going on. So I don't know if this is a damaged part or if there's something else going on in here. But a little bit of an issue. Not sure if I'm going to be able to fix that or not. But I've heard that there are better versions out there now. Probably just need to invest in a new one, and we'll go from there. But yeah, for the most part, I would call this a completed project, and I'm very happy that it's going to work fine for me. A little finicky, but I think it'll be a a successful way to play this on the projector. So I thank you for watching it, and if you have any questions or you want to reach out to me or possibly like get contact information for Alex, my friend who kind of put this idea in my head to do this, who actually made some of those components that I needed, the custom ribbon cable for the floppy drive that was missing, the Gotek floppy disk drive adapter that's needed. Definitely he could be found on the MSX Resource Center, or I can, with permission, drop his information to you, so you can email him. But thank you for watching. It's been a very interesting project that's taught me a lot. Hopefully I can get this off of the workbench so I can work on some more things. I've got quite a few projects ahead of this one that I've been like really itching to get this one done. So I'm glad it's finally finished. Thanks for watching.